Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fire Emblem podcast. It has been a long time. I think this is kind of season 4, episode 2. We'll call it take 2 because I actually tried to record episode 2 once upon a time and then it just didn't happen. But anyway, the person you can blame is actually not me, Blazer. It's actually my co-host slash underling, Shu.
I feel like we open up every podcast we make with, man, it's been a while since we had a podcast. Because we make them so infrequently.
I mean, but that's kind of what I'm trying to fix, hopefully. I also say that every time, too, and it never happens.
Dude, we're just spinning
I
our
was like,
wheels.
don't worry, guys, 2 weeks from now, we're gonna get the next episode out, and then, I'll, maybe try and record an episode, and it just kind of go off
Maybe
the radar.
we should... we shouldn't promise anything. That's why the expectations are so low. So no matter what we do, it'll be a pleasant surprise.
You can't go wrong when your expectations are low. Pretty much if you get anything, you're happy, right?
No, exactly.
Speaking of expectations, I did not expect a new Fire Emblem character from that latest Direct, which was actually quite a bit ago, we know. So basically, we are recording this the day before Corrin is coming to Smash, and basically, if you don't know, you should Google it right now, because we're going to be talking about Corrin, the main character slash avatar of Fire Emblem Fates.
Yes.
AKA that game that's not out yet, right?
And what I was telling Blazer before we recorded this is that there's also a 3DS coming out that's like a special Fire Emblem Fates edition, right? And with all the once Bayonetta and Corrin got announced for Smash, I was like, okay, fine, I'll buy a 3DS XL because I didn't have one for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I was putting it off. I always figured I was gonna get one, but I just kept walking into stores and then walking right out without a 3DS XL in my hand. And then, so a couple weeks ago, I finally, pulled the trigger on one of them. Bought it at a Best Buy. And then this new special edition Fire Emblem Fates 3DS XL is announced. And I'm totally being left out to dry on that. It doesn't surprise me at all. I think most gamers actually have that experience where they buy something and then...
Oh, yeah. I've had that plenty of times. I'm pretty sour. Probably the worst case of it is when I've actually bought a game and then not played it, and then they announce either a huge price drop, or they just announce a remastered version coming to a newer console, and I'm just like, oh well, crap! I bought this game for nothing, absolutely nothing. I haven't even played it, or I played it for 5 minutes, and I'm just super sour. But yeah. I mean, you just can't know that stuff because Nintendo announces it when they do, and you don't know if they're gonna announce it, and it's hey. You announce it 3 weeks before the game's coming out. A lot of people will have already bought 3DSs in anticipation, or already had 3DSs, so I don't know. There's kind of limited appeal in that regard.
Right.
I mean, some people will just dish out the extra money for a new 3DS, but I've done that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, haven't you done that before?
I did that with the Awakening 3DS, which I was super hyped because basically it was oh my gosh, we haven't had a Fire Emblem game since Shadow Dragon, and I basically don't acknowledge Shadow Dragon just because.
Oh, I remember.
I mean, I just didn't find it that fun. So basically, I was oh my gosh, it's been 6 years. I need to have this Awakening 3DS. It's pretty much just a relapse with a Fire Emblem. So yeah, I did that, but most people aren't gonna buy it. I'm certainly not buying the new Fates 3DS. I do like that they're going for more what's the word, subtle, kind of tactful design there, as opposed to showing the characters. But that's just me, I prefer the kind of texture design thing, but it doesn't stand out too much. But
yeah, no, me too. I mean, like I said, if I didn't already have bought a 3DS XL, I definitely would be signing up for one of these bad boys.
For sure. Yeah, that aside, that's actually not why we're here to talk, right? So, Corrin, Smash. He's coming tomorrow afternoonish slash the 4th, which is actually, I believe, the day that Fire Emblem Awakening came out in North America about 3 years ago.
Ooh, callback.
Not mistaken. So yeah, he's coming out soon, and we actually got treated to not just the video from a while ago, kind of introducing him, but also some gameplay videos rather, showing him and Bayonetta. So Shu, give me the lowdown. Like, what do you think so far? You know, you've seen him, flinging his sword around, right? Yes, he is a sword character. I know we don't need to complain about that. We've heard that. He's the 15th billionth character, sword wielding character. But aside from that, like, what are your first impressions?
Well, I actually really like sword characters. I don't know why. I think it's sort of nostalgia for me. Back in when I would play Melee, my favorite characters were always Link, Roy, Marth. So
Oh yeah, for sure. Same.
I'm a big fan of sword characters. I'm really excited to see. It looks like he's. See, one thing that I noticed is that I don't even really know what you would compare him to in as far as the rest of the characters go. Like, my mind immediately jumps to Robin, but at the same time, Robin was a very mystical magic type character, and I'm still not getting that exact vibe from Corrin. Maybe like a weird mix between Shulk and Robin. Who knows? But I don't think we're gonna be able to really pin that down until we get our hands on the character.
Nah, I kind of get you. Robin's more of like a projectile-based character for a lot of people. He's got all those like spell varieties, and like, yeah, he has a sword, but the sword's kind of got like crappy range. Whereas Corrin, I noticed with his attacks, his range has got like more like Shulk's range, or even I guess kind of like Ike's range. So better than Roy, because Roy has his like butter knife basically, right? His sword is even shorter than Mars now. So I mean, like, yeah, like basically we have like every single possible variation of sword length that's not like longer than Cloud's sword or shorter than Roy's sword basically. But actually his forward air reminds me somewhat of Cloud. His forward air attack is basically just like, aha, another air slash, right? And then the same thing with his up air, which supposedly now forward air combos into up air. Someone mentioned that for people who are into that, you can apparently combo forward air into up air. I don't know if it's a true combo or whatever. But yeah, his normal attacks seem like pretty standard. Like, hey, I'm pretty much just like swinging my sword around, right? Like the down tilt's just like, hey, it's a low sword slave. So I guess in that regards, it's not too creative. But what about the specials? I know the one that first comes to mind is the counter because it's the easiest to remember. Basically, every character except for Robin has it. His is that water based. So it looks like he has like a water theme to him. But what about his other moves? Do you remember what we saw?
Well, I remember thinking that I remember finding it interesting that his final smash is it's not quite like the other Fire Emblem characters in the sense it's more like a Captain Falcon final smash in the sense that you just hit him once initially, and then there's the cutscene kill essentially. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Kind of like Roy's. I don't know if you've seen Roy's, but basically it's like you hit him to start with, right? But I think his kind of surrounds him a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward final smash, all said and done. So I'm looking at the moves now, just in case you don't remember. So it looks like his special attack, his B attack, momentarily paralyzes opponents. And I remember seeing that at the beginning of one of the video footage. And I'm pretty sure this stuff was also shown when he was like first introduced, but like that was ages ago. So that kind of reminds me of Zero Suit Samus's I forgot the official name, but like her paralyzer gun. You know what I'm talking about there?
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. In a way, that doesn't seem that creative. But apparently it can hit more than one opponent at a time, so I guess if you're into team battles, that's the thing.
Yeah, that would be, or, do what everybody does and then just wail on level 9s, because they have no friends. It's like, let's be real, that's probably how people are going to use them.
I mean,
Use him, her. Sorry,
him, her.
him,
Yeah,
her, she, he.
I'm pretty much just calling Corinne a him just because it's very annoying to say him, her, or them, or whatever, like every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah, alright, he's an avatar, she's an avatar, so we have get both genders and blah blah. Yep. Nintendo's way better than Ubisoft because they're actually willing to make female characters.
Oh, Blazer throwing shade.
No, that's not me. That's just a common joke that people made that back with Corrin. Pretty much any, like, I shouldn't say anytime. It's like died down quite a bit, but like for a bit, like anytime someone would make like a female character, especially Nintendo, they'd be like, "Oh, like what about Ubisoft?
Yeah,
Ubisoft." You know? People just give Ubisoft such a hard time.
Oh, they do. That's for sure.
Their games are still fun sometimes, though. So yeah, you know the big corporations are the bad guys, but hey, they're not all bad.
Well, let's not dive down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's not right. I'm sorry, I get carried away easily as a kid.
No, yeah, you and me both.
Okay, but his side B is called Dragon Lunge. Alright, so basically all his moves start with Dragon. Which allows Corrin to pin opponents down with a downward thrust, offering up counter potential. I'm not quite sure what that means, given that he already has a move literally called Counter Surge that also counters, but, you know, hey, it is what it is. It seems okay, but, so what were you about to say?
Well, I think, I don't know, I just think he's really interesting with his move set, in the sense that it's very elemental, and then it's kind of, I don't know, like, I mean, none of the moves that he makes, I think, are anything that we have never seen before, but the combination of his moveset is, I think, very interesting.
Yeah, you're right. No, because, like, okay, we've seen the Paralyzer before, but Zero Suit Samus plays so differently from, you know, like, Shulk or a sword user, at least in my opinion. So yeah, you're right, that kind of combination, and then he has this weird move that pins opponents down, and I kind of saw it, but I think I'll have to play with him to really get the feel for it, because it's like, all right, I pinned them down, but like, how do I attack them now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, am I supposed to have, like, you know, like double team on them or something? I mean, that'd be pretty good for 2-on-1s, but how often does that pop up, right?
No.
And his up B attack is called Dragon Ascent. Which gets insane range. So apparently he has a good recovery. I think I saw that. It's like a water-based recovery again. I think Corrin can also kind of sprout wings, which it's very, very, very small spoilers. Basically, like, as soon as you pop into Fates, they pretty much tell you that, hey, Corrin is, like, part dragon and can, like, turn into a dragon or whatever. So, like, alright, basically, you know, Nintendo's choosing to spoil you anyway, so don't be mad at us for saying it, right? I mean, let's be real. Nintendo's pretty much already spoiled the sword he uses and some of his techniques and, like, his critical animations, probably. I mean, you know.
Yeah, no, Blazer passing the buck here, right on the old Nintendo.
I mean, they did it with Roy, too, you know? Like, this isn't even the first time with Fire Emblem. They did the same thing with Roy. Like, hey, let's give him his, you know, Sword of Seals, and you play FE6, and like, oh, I'm just using this lame rapier. Like,
he was out there before Fire Emblem 6 even released.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Roy came out before FE6 even released.
Yeah,
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you play FE6, and it's like, oh, like, where's my fire sword? I know I'm gonna get it. It's just a matter of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, is one of my favorite weapons of all time. But
yeah, no, it's an awesome sword. I mean, Fire Emblem 6 is one of my favorite Fire Emblem games.
Ah, yeah. Right. Pretty much both of us are huge Fire Emblem 6 fanboys. So.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, how can you not be? Roy's our boy, dude.
Oh, for sure. Alright, we're getting sidetracked again.
No, yeah, we did. But going back to Smash, I think that, like, what we're kind of seeing with and Blazer, you can probably jump in on this if you want. What we're seeing on the DLC characters in Smash is that they're all really pretty good, to be honest. Because I was playing around with Cloud earlier today, like, in Smash. And he fucking kicks ass, man. You know? Straight up, like he's really good, and Roy's really good too.
Oh yeah,
I
I was
was
really impressed with Roy.
and I
Like,
would not
oh,
be
my favorite character
surprised
doesn't suck.
to see Corrin and Bayonetta also be pretty much ballers essentially.
No, I mean I saw like Bayonetta doing combos, and I'm like, all right, well, like A, it's gonna be awesome doing that, and B, it's gonna be suck getting hit by that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But then yeah, also Corrin, just like his moves come out quickly, relatively quickly from what I saw. He's got solid range. He's got the paralyzer. Like he's got a counter, which is a little useful. I don't know. I don't think Corrin's gonna be a top tier. I just don't think he has anything that's gonna like make him like broken, right? But I think he'll be like maybe around Cloud level, and of course like whenever a character first comes out, basically like no one knows how to fight against them, right?
Right.
And so like you don't even like know the opponent's moves necessarily, so you're like still kind of learning, and it's like the character seems a lot more powerful than they actually are, compared to the other characters. But I still think Corrin will probably be solid. Bayonetta might be better. Again, I don't really know. I mean, I just think I'm a big Bayonetta fan, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, you're right. Like the DLC is generally like, aside from the returners, that's not Roy. I mean, like Mewtwo and Lucas, kind of like, especially Lucas. Lucas kind of sucks. I hate to say it.
Man, sometimes I forget Lucas is even in the
Exactly. I think Lucas is like basically the Kellum of Super Smash Bros.
No, absolutely. I almost as a joke I wanted to say, what do you mean Lucas is in Smash?
No, I mean like yeah, I like forget he's there, and like I used to play him a lot in Brawl too, and I just like play him and he feels different and he's not that great. But I mean, Lucas is still my man. I'm an Earthbound/Mother fan, but yeah, definitely like the most like not recognizable DLC release, I guess, or least notable. But anyway, so Corrin has been the chosen character, coming out for $4.99, $5.99 in both systems. We don't get a new stage, which I guess I'm okay with. We have two FG stages already, right?
Yeah.
We have 8 Fire Emblem characters, so like the rest of the Smash fandom that isn't Fire Emblem fans are probably pissed off. They're kind of taking their anger out on us, maybe a little bit. Like, hey, I'm not Sakura. I didn't decide.
Yeah, really, exactly.
Which funny thing, Sakurai actually said he was like, yeah, like I was hesitant about putting in another Fire Emblem character, but everyone reassured me that it was okay. And I'm like, no, you guys reassured him.
Who's everybody? Who's this everybody that's assuring you?
The people working with him and all that.
No.
But basically the logic behind this new release it seems to be, okay, Fire Emblem Fates is coming out in the West. He's like, it came out under the title Fire Emblem If in Japan. Like let's advertise it. So basically it's like Roy again, where they're doing like, a bit of marketing advertising, and it's also like, hey, this character's relevant, right? So I mean, think about the other characters they could put in that they haven't already put in. They'd either have to put in someone like really old, right? Any suggestions on that? I can't even think of anyone.
As far as like
okay, like basically they're trying to include DLC characters, right? They're saying like, okay, characters they can do, so like not Goku. Characters right? Characters that are like relevant and characters that aren't already in. So like honestly, I in a way I wasn't too excited about Corrin because I was kind of expecting something like more like out there, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, like the final DLC, but like at the same time, I can't really think of anything.
No, exactly.
Else, so.
And this is honestly, this is how I thought a lot before Smash 4 even came out. Is that it's hard to come up with characters that are like Nintendo characters that you could put in Smash. Obviously, that you could throw a total curveball and then put Bayonetta in or Cloud in. Bayonetta's not a huge curveball, but Cloud, I mean, I don't know anybody who saw Cloud coming.
No. Actually, wait, hold on. Funny tangent. Is basically I saw a thread and like somebody was like a few hours before they're like, yeah, I heard from like my uncle who works at Nintendo and he's like, Cloud's gonna be in, and he said this like way before the direct, but it was like the same day still, and it's just like put up that thread, and then basically everyone's like, you're funny, like I heard
I'm sure everyone's like, yeah, whatever.
And it was like actually correct, and then everyone like flipped like, oh my gosh, this guy's uncle actually works for Nintendo. But yeah, besides Cloud, like, You were saying?
Like, I mean, it's hard to come up with characters from like Nintendo. I mean, Academy, I guess, for lack of a better word, the
No, I got you.
Nintendo catalog that, I mean, isn't kind of obscure or like a cool character, but not really an important character from a franchise that already has a presence in Smash.
Exactly,
Like,
right? There's so many factors. You're like, oh, if you include like another Pokemon, okay, there's like a ton of
Yeah.
Pokemon to include, right?
I'm gonna
But
tell
then
you.
people will be mad. They're like, oh, we already have like 7 Pokemon, right?
Yeah, no, I mean like they could put Slippy Toad in. That would.
Great.
But
Yeah.
who wants to see Slippy Toad?
And I mean, I remember one of our punk friends was like, yo, like Villager, like he's not even a fighter, you shouldn't even be in, right? So like for some people, they're already kind of like stretching it, you know, pulling in like the certain characters. I mean, I don't really agree. I think it's like hilarious that the Villager is a fighter in Smash, but
Yeah, like it's not. It's literally. I mean, it's like it's a party fighter. That's
Right,
Like,
yeah.
So we want. I mean, there's a huge like professional presence with Smash and competitive presence with Smash, but at the end of the day, I think most people just play because it's a goofy. Everybody can play at one time. Literally, everybody can play at one time. 8
yeah, 8 player
players,
Smash.
and just divulge in the chaos on the screen, and that's I think
Correct.
the main reason why Smash Brothers has been so successful over the years. And
yeah.
they have to cater to that aspect of the game, I suppose, and that's why there are characters like Villager in there.
Yeah. But basically my point was that, you know, like for some people they've already kind of pushed out there, right? They've already kind of milked every notable franchise they have. So the only thing is to kind of like hit with new characters, and it's like, all right, you know, when it comes to new characters, or characters with a lot or rather series with a lot of characters that aren't like The Legend of Zelda, where the main characters are always like Link and Zelda and some other new princess, right?
Yep.
You know, it's like, okay, Fire Emblem usually gets a new main character every time, and they have all the supporting cast and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So when you consider that, like in a way, it's almost like a great place to get new characters. And I'm just saying, I'm not saying I like it. I'm just saying that's my, you know, trying to justify their logic.
Like it makes
which is
sense,
great.
but I think another thing they could do, and maybe this might just be. I mean, if you know me, you know I've been a proponent for a new F-Zero game for a long time, and
yeah.
tell me how dope would it be if they announce a new F-Zero game and they come out with Blood Falcon or James McCloud or some schmuck from the F-Zero franchise and throw it in there. I mean, Captain Falcon has been the only dude from the F-Zero series.
Exactly,
in Smash
that's the thing. It's like they're not gonna put in a new they're not gonna put in like Black Shadow because freaking no one who's not part of my generation knows who he is.
No, exactly. No, definitely. I don't know. I think that there is a lot of. I think going forward we might not have this problem. Like you said, they're gonna have to really rely on new characters for the most part because they've kind of already picked out every notable character.
Oh yeah, I mean we already have games like freaking like Kid Icarus and I don't know like other things.
Like how obscure is that?
I mean it did get a new game recently-ish, but before that it didn't have a game for like a century.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I don't know anybody.
Ice Climbers. When was the last time? I know they're not in anymore, but like
No,
still.
but yeah.
Yeah, you're right though.
No, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see how that goes. They'll probably, mix it up with a few third-party characters, and there'll probably be, some kind of stretches and that kind of thing. Well, there was actually a rumor that the NX might be getting Super Smash Brothers at launch, but basically people were thinking it'd be something like, like slightly better graphics, maybe like slightly reworked online, and then it'd include all the DLC, and maybe be like $40 instead of $60, right? So basically, that kind of like pushed the NX, and then people who didn't get a Wii U and didn't get Smash for Wii U can say like, oh, I can get an NX, and I can get like a new F-Zero game because they're putting that at launch for NX, right?
Dude, perfect.
And we'll get the new Smash.
Yeah, absolutely.
One at a time. We're getting a new Star Fox, so that's progress.
Yeah, progress. Baby steps.
Baby steps, indeed.
Really. Come on, Nintendo. Do it for me!
I really do like that logic though, because I actually when like Lucas got announced, I was like, all right, this is their chance to like put out Mother 3.
Earthbound's coming back, baby!
Quell everyone. You know, just like people have been begging for like Mother 3 and a new F-Zero, a new Star Fox. Like that'd be the perfect timing.
Yeah, it would. It would.
I put Final Fantasy VII on the NX. Be like, yo, Cloud's in Smash. Let's do it. I mean, Cloud hasn't even been on a legitimate Nintendo game, like a game on a Nintendo system. He's probably been in like some like spin-off game or something, like Final Fantasy Explorers, which just came out. But like in terms of actual games, I mean, Final Fantasy VII and Crisis Core and Advent Children and all that stuff, like, not Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean, the closest thing to something like that would be the Final Fantasy VII Remake, which isn't on the Wii U.
Exactly, right. So, okay, it's not coming to the Wii U, and I kind of get that, because, like, the Wii U's not the most technically, you know, driven system or whatever.
Right.
But, you know, NX is supposed to be, like, super awesome. If people are hyping it up to get it, they're, you know, they might end up disappointing themselves by, like, making their expectations unreal. But let's say the NX actually is super powerful. You know, why not port FF7 to it? You know, show some love and kind of make Cloud make a little bit more sense, right?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure people who, like, not big FF fans, and they see, like, oh, look at this, like, cool jacket, you know, emo swordsman with a big sword. You know, I want to play his game, right? But maybe they, you know, they don't have money for a PlayStation, so...
And, I do like the practice though of, I mean, what they seem to do is that characters in Smash or new characters in Smash for new games almost kind of double as as like a mini marketing campaign. You know, and they've been doing that since Melee with Roy. I like that because, like, for example, say a new F-Zero does get announced and they do put somebody like Blood Falcon in the game, I can see somebody going, oh, hey, this guy is like Captain Falcon, but he's a jerk. I didn't really pay attention to these guys before. They have their own game. Oh, I should try that.
Right.
But they might not necessarily look at it the same way if they add another Pokemon, for instance. Like, you can only add so many Pokemon, people aren't going to care.
Right, exactly, yeah. Nah, I got you.
So, yeah, I don't know. That's how I look at it.
Alright, so actually that went on a little bit longer than I thought, but I like that discussion. You know, it wasn't all Corrin, it was like, you know, some Corrin in Smash, some just Smash. Right?
You know, me and Blazer, we like to keep it real, alright? We just goosey, okay? We don't have any set structure. We don't plan for these types of things. Just get on the mic and start spitting. Not really. Alright.
I mean, not no, but yeah. But basically, so the idea is we'll have a new podcast in a week or so. Hopefully, whenever Shu and I get to play it. I'm actually a little bit like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, because basically I'm like gone all of tomorrow. I don't get home until like 12:30 in the morning. Technically the next day, right? So I'm like, all right, I don't know. I either like come home and like try the new characters after everyone else has tried it out at 1 a.m. Or I just, like, skip work or something just so I can, like, try out the new characters.
Ooh. Yeah, who knows? I hope your boss doesn't listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be the greatest plot twist? Your boss is, like, secretly a huge fan.
I mean, I've actually, like, okay, so the funny thing is, like, one of the people on, and one of the clubs I'm on, like, basically is played one of my hacks, and, like, I told him basically, like, who I was, and he was like, oh my gosh, like, what? So, that was, I don't know, it was just super interesting. It was, got a little interesting there. Kind of try and keep it on the down low, you know what I'm saying? You know, wear a hat and sunglasses, and, you know,
you're like you're a real celebrity, Blazer.
Yeah, you know, people look at me, they're just like, oh my gosh, that's Blazer, he made the last prize. No.
Oh, man.
No, not in a million years, I'm joking, guys.
Right.
But yeah, that's it for Season 4, Episode 2. No promises on Episode 3. You know, we talk up a big game, but...
Yeah, we definitely do. Let's look at it this way. Don't be surprised if there is another podcast in a couple days, but also don't be surprised if you never hear from us ever again. So,
Peace.
Peace.